you're an asshole or an idiot, sorry, the color of your skin is not going to save you or make it any worse or make it any better. It literally has zero impact. I get that it's a bad word. I do understand that it's a bad word. Me, myself, I would never say it. Although someone actually gave me the N password, I would still not say it because it is a shitty word. But when a person with Tourette says it, it's like, it doesn't hold the same meaning. Because this person cannot control anything he says or he does because of his disease.
Let me see if I got this right. Over the weekend, there was a film award show dedicated to honoring writers, actors, directors, and all the hard work that they put into making entertainment on the big or the small screen throughout the qualifying year. And in the crowd, there is a man, and his name is John Davidson, white. And he is there as an activist and campaigner and someone who suffers from Tourette's.
People, right? How dare they say the N-word? Only stupid white people would do that, right?
Showing support to a movie called I Swear, which is a movie that has to deal with someone who's dealing with Tourette's. And maybe in my mind, I'm thinking of it as a positive reinforcement to show support to a movie and maybe getting people to watch the movie so that they could understand people who live with Tourette's, because that South Park episode did a lot of damage to the reputation with Tourette's. Keep that in mind. And
come on, and that's why they think it's real, because of South Park. South Park always took the piss out of everything. And then you say something that you really mean, just because you have Tourette, that the from a cartoon show. As up, man.
As the award show is going on, you have two black actors, Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan, on the stage, presumably announcing nominees or even giving a speech. And as they're on...
And this guy, I mean, when he dropped the word, I thought this guy is probably gonna die, right? He's gonna like pass out, and that's it. That's the end of that dude. I mean, I'm impressed how well he took it in the end, right? That they didn't like break out in tears and get a heart attack. And oh my God, these poor people.
On the stage for everyone to see and for everyone to hear, John Davidson yells out the N-word and the word bitch. And you can imagine that the circumstances surrounding two black people.
How dare you call me a bitch? I'm appealed by this. I cannot anymore. And didn't these fuckers even like get to redo the whole speech at the different award?
On a television screen, and somebody, and we find out later it's a white person, yelling out a slur.
Oh God, the white person, how dare, right?
Will garner the typical reaction that you can always expect.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
Some of you are getting on my last God-given nerves. The fact that I have to come up here to break down for you the ABCs 1, 2, 3 do-re-mis of racism, because some of you have the bombastic audacity to want to litigate the racial intent of a white man.
Guys, stupid monkey here, but I have a question for especially my black viewers. As a white monkey, I do not understand. Why is it only offensive if a white person says it, but like not when everyone says it? Like, why isn't the word offensive, like, no matter who says it, right? Even if you say it amongst yourself, why is it then not offensive?
And absolve him of racism because of his disability. Now, I'm going to make time for you today. Let me say
Just
this in plain English. I'm not speaking Latin or Swahili.
Get over it.
John Davidson is a racist white man with Tourette syndrome. And
he's a racist white man with Tourette syndrome. No, he's a white man with Tourette syndrome that you pointing out to be racist because you are offended that he used the word that you use amongst each other.
let me break this down for you. Tourette syndrome is a disability. Disability is not racism.
And again, I always had a hard time understanding racism in the first place because I don't get offended by morons. I don't know.
And it does not make you racist. The Tourette syndrome
people cannot offend me.
What is already in the heart.
If you offend me, the thing is, I'm gonna choose to ignore you. Like people that actually pissing me off and going like, yeah, Juju, you are white trash, stupid hippie or something. I don't know. You're a racist. You can call me whatever, right? I am gonna disagree and move on and ignore you. I'm just like, I'm old enough to brush it off and just go like, yeah, whatever. What does this more want of me? Like, so you called me a name, and
so of the person speaking.
I don't need to record myself on TikTok. How upset I am over a award where someone said the N-word and how racist they are and how upset this makes me. And now I need to preach to the world how terrible of a thing this is. Like, come on, get over it yourself. I bet you got other things to do. Things you could, like, spend time on. Like, come on.
The word nigger is not a Tourette syndrome condition. It is a racist condition.
She said it. She said racist. She said it. She said it. Summer Band is a woman. How dare she offend people by saying the word?
Is
she insane?
Bank of vocabulary and all the
didn't she just like say how terrible of a word it is? And then she said it herself.
Intrusive thoughts become actions or words, the impact is real.
I am
for those of you woeful and willful ignorant out there,
I am
racism does not require intent to be racist. It doesn't matter if you meant to be racist, you did it with depraved indifference, or it happened because you have a disability. The racial impact on black people as they watched Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo be racially abused on
false allegations,
was instant. Because we all knew exactly what they were thinking, what they were feeling, why they switched on and kept on moving. We knew what it was. We were in that moment with them. That impact is freaking racism. You want to undermine the racist attack against Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo to make John David...
the poor Jordan and that other dude. Oh, I feel so sorry for them guys, man.
Because he's a white man with a disability. But you are the same obtuse hypocrite.
If you're an asshole or an idiot, sorry, the color of his skin is not going to save you or make it any worse or make it any better. It literally has zero impact.
That condemned Kanye West as an anti-Semite, demanded action be taken against him without any consideration of bipolar disorder and
an ugly male into an uglier woman. Yeah, that's true. Last, you would remain ugly. You wouldn't like turn beautiful just because you're a woman. No, you would remain ugly. Yeah, true. Wiser words have never been spoken.
Fact his bipolar disorder would have had on his words and his actions because he's a black man with a disability. We see you. Even the BBC was overtly racist. They made a conscious decision to edit out Free Palestine, which is not anti-Semitic, from Akinola Davis Jr.'s acceptance speech. But they lacked the moral backbone and racial consciousness to...
Well, first of all, that was a political message from a man who actually knew what he was saying and probably had a message he wanted to bring across. You cannot compare that to someone that has Tourette, who uncontrollably shouts out anything without thinking about it. He's not making a message. He's not making a statement. He's certainly not attacking anyone for using the N-word. It's just a stupid word. He said it. Get over it.
Feelings of white Zionist Jews trumps the racism experienced by black people. So no, my thoughts are not with John Davidson. My thoughts are with Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo, and every black person. Because we are constantly erased to center the comfort, fragility, and inferiority complex of white people. I said what I said.
Somebody said Tourette's. I said send them to the hood. So I was watching the BAFTAs, right? And then this activist with Tourette's started yelling the N-word.
Oh my God, not the N-word.
Now, I know. Tourette's is involuntary. It's not like it's just this thing that people can just switch off whenever they want to. But let me tell y'all something. You drop that word in the hood just one good time. You're going to discover muscles of self-control that you didn't even know you had. See, the hood is not WebMD. The hood has immediate, what I call hands-on corrective therapy. You might tick once, maybe twice, but by day 3, oh, you blinking in Morse code instead. Let's see, there's one thing about the hood.
Don't you think that if there was a cure for Tourette and you just put them in the hood and it would instantly like stop? Don't you think that every Tourette person would have moved into the hood if there's a chance of curing whatever they have?
Tolerate recreational racism. There will be a course correction, and it'll come swiftly. I'm just saying, how fast y'all think the hood would have cleared this up?
And afterwards, it's been a few hours since this happened. He's apologized. Everybody's giving out PR statements. Everybody's saying they're disgusted by it. You even have people who have Tourette's.
They literally made him apologize. They literally, because they got so offended by it. These two poor actors who had to hear the N-word.
Trying to explain how this could happen and what it is about Tourette's, they're being labeled as anti-black because they're not sitting there admonishing a guy who suffers from the same thing that they're suffering from, because if you don't stick to the code, you're somehow anti-black in some way, shape, or form.
Ignore how I look right now. Pretty great Kenshin. I am not feeling too great. However, there is something I have been asked to talk about, and that is going to be the BAFTA situation.
She's cute. She's adorable. Aww.
I have been seeing a bunch of outrage about it, people saying, oh, well, why would that even be in his vocabulary? He did that on purpose and all of the...
Dude, it must be hilarious having a girlfriend with Tourette and you take her out to a nice dinner and she's just like, you know, all these...
this stuff, and that racism is to excuse. Very bitch sad day. Tourette syndrome community, especially for the ones that have coprolalia, because when you come online and you see thousands of people hating on your condition, specifically coprolalia, because that's something that is already very embarrassing for all of us. Not going to say that people can't be offended by the fact that somebody said the N-word as a tic. However, it's not something that somebody can control. It's not something that somebody wants to say. And I've been seeing a lot of people be like, well, he said it like when the crowd went silent. That is most likely when a tic is going to happen when you're in public, when you're...
Why would you, like, that's the thing. That's when you absolutely... I could just imagine how it's like, you know? You have to say it at the worst terrible timing and you just cannot control it. Like where other people go, no. For you, it's just happening. And that's the part of the disease, right? Because if you could control it when it's the loudest, then, I mean, come on, Jesus. Of course I cannot control it.
Complete silence, or when you're trying not to say or do something. So we must understand what coprolalia is. Coprolalia causes involuntary swearing and inappropriate tics. This can include the N-word, slurs, etc. I am a black person and even I have the N-word tic and slurs as tics. This is something I don't see many talk about because of situations like this. Is it a disappointing thing? Shut up! That it happened in public in front of that entire crowd, specifically to Michael B. Jordan and the other presenter. I'm so sorry, I do not know his name. I wish I did, but no disrespect to him. I just am not too aware.
I don't know the two actors' names. I didn't give a about these two actors either. Stalk up that got like offended over nothing, basically.
Yes, it is a very unfortunate situation. Seeing so many people say that they would invoke violence against people with coprolalia if they can't control their tics.
Never seen them right.
I'm just like, who the yes, but it's something that we can't
keep
control.
It gone.
Aggression is
gun.
Being triggered. Shut up. And ultimately causing inappropriate tics. Michael B. Jordan and the other presenter have the right to be upset, especially if they were not aware. However, we need to understand and educate
we're gonna play Resident Evil later.
I constantly see people saying, "Oh my god, it's so funny! If I had cursing tics, I would be laughing all the time." But when people actually have cursing tics, then it's offensive and they're a bad person and this and that, the third. We need to do better. We need to educate ourselves better. This is not me saying that people don't have the right to be offended.
Yeah,
however, you can't be offended when a disabled person is disabled. I might make
it'd be like, as an example, you be offended why people in wheelchairs are not walking, right? Why do they have to have a wheelchair ramp to get access to buildings? And, you know, why do they have to have toilets with disabilities or like wheelchair lifts? And then you would stand there and just like, why don't you just walk, you fucking cunt? Right? It basically, this is exactly how I see it. It is retarded.
Part 2 to this. This is part 2 to my last post about
I'm
the
gonna stop
yeah,
people in wheelchairs because like,
oh my god,
they're walking.
Tourette syndrome is not.
And I'm gonna record myself and doing TikTok.
Are happen no
how everyone in a wheelchair is simulating.
I'm black. Oh my goodness. And I also have the N-word as a tic. I have other slurs as tics. Does this mean that I use them regularly? Does this mean that I mean them? Does this mean that I can control what I say?
Like, stop it, I'm being offended.
That is not how Tourette syndrome works. Quite literally the Sweet Anita situation all over again. Shut up. Where she ended up saying the N-word on stream. She got canceled for it, got called racist, etc. We need to do better. I've seen so many people say
making the
that we can control our tics. That's not, if you can control a tic, it's not a tic. Let me explain what a tic is in detail. Oh, shut up, bitch. A tic is when your neurons misfire. You think that you can seriously...
My last out of context clip, it went really well. Just Asman white people, right? But then again, can't blame him. White people do. White people are the worst.
You fucking control a neuron misfiring. I've never seen a human possibly do that. We have got to stop thinking with our feelings and start thinking with logic. It is okay to be offended. Shut up. But what it is not okay to do is be ableist and try to make it seem
I will watch it for
like people
hours.
with Tourette, specifically those with coprolalia, say their tics on purpose. My whole think piece on this, if you are offended, I do deeply apologize, but I'm just being logical here. I see a lot of people giving their think pieces, and they are specifically talking about racism when tics don't correlate with racism. But that's not what causes offensive or obscene tics. What causes those kinds of tics are coprolalia. Coprolalia, shut up, is completely involuntary and does not involve your vocabulary.
And I feel as though this has done a complete disservice to people who suffer from Tourette's. Now, let me just make something abundantly clear. In the moment, you can be shocked and a little bit angry about it. And you could keep that anger because you know what? You're hearing a slur directed at two people on the stage who may have the same skin complexion as you, or maybe even don't, and you're a little bit disgusted by it. The initial reaction is perfectly fine and justified in being angry about it. And when you find out that this is somebody with Tourette's and you have like that core loose understanding, that anger could simmer just a little bit. Not saying it'll completely wash away, but there will be a layer of understanding that'll get you to say,
all my mods.
Okay, it sucks that I had to hear this, but there's a layer of understanding that could make me be a little bit less angry. Or you could be ignorant enough to try to compare a completely different situation to somebody dealing with Tourette's in thinking that somehow makes you the winner in the conversation, and it doesn't. It makes you ignorant and also stupid to the subject matter that you truly do not pay attention to, which makes me laugh deep inside.
Mind you, my take was literally that if you think he's racist and don't understand why people are defending him, to the point you're attacking the people defending him and putting the black people defending him,
the best one,
you do not understand Tourette's. No one sane is blaming people for being offended. No one's doing that. They're saying that you cannot jump to the conclusion that this man is racist. He is disabled. Many, many, many people are genuinely questioning how he even acquired the N-word. Why does a grown man know the N-word? And do you want me to sit and go back and forth? I can't. At least not for long. But, reminder, I don't delete my videos. I just stop you having access to them.
I can tell you where the N-word is coming from because it's in music. It is everywhere. This is what I mean. I hear the N-word probably a couple of times every day because I listen to old hip-hop and stuff. I really love old hip-hop, especially like late 90s and early 2000s. that really old school, I don't know, Cypress Hill gangster shit. And OMG, yeah, they're dropping the N-word left, right, and center. Everywhere you go, it's like, and here and then there.
People see a video's taken down and then they immediately, I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is, but people immediately start rewriting history. Like, I cannot reference the video at any point. If you think he is racist and are attacking people defending him, you do not understand Tourette's. That was actually the thumbnail of the video. This group of people, who I can't name, don't understand Tourette's. Not people can't be offended that the N-word was used. You see, I have a problem with this. I have a problem with people demanding John Davidson apologise, otherwise...
Like I said, I get that it's offensive. I get that. But not in this situation. Not when you have a disabled person saying it.
Did it on purpose. He didn't do it on purpose. Full stop. If he chooses to apologise, I don't see why he can't have a quiet word with them in person. People want him to just go out on the main stage.
Look,
it just sounds like a humiliation ritual. I'm sorry, and I know that's so controversial, but I can't think differently. It's not his fault. He's disabled. If you're incontinent and you have to go out in public because you're a human being, are you supposed to get up on a stage and apologise every time you wet yourself? Obviously, the gravity is huge and the offence is huge. And yes, you apologise for things that aren't your fault. But the idea of expecting to just get up in front of everyone and say, I'm so sorry. How many times do you think he's had to do that in his life? I think BAFTA should apologise. I think the BBC should apologise. I think John Michael Delroy, John's family or activists or something can get an agreement to explain, even though it was said before at the start of the ceremony, just explain.
They forget that they find offensive largely within the US. That's another thing, yeah, Ginrai. It's mainly in the US.
And again, how it was completely not intentional. I think that can happen.
I think the worst part about all of this is how we wouldn't have known if the editors did their job and did their best to lower the volume on the crowd so that nobody would have picked up on this. Because apparently...
Yeah, in Germany you do. But tell you what, Sweden has very, very limited swear words. And most of our swear words and insults are all religious, right? We go like, yeah, the devil will take you and you will go to hell. And we don't have sexual insults, like we don't say motherfucker and things like that don't translate into our language. We don't use those sorts of words.
Award show was not live. There was like either an hour or 2 hour delay. So they had time to go in and do...
Clown, we had different swear words during Viking times. It was like Thor will get you and Odin will rip your spine out or something, right? It was more a berserker, but the language has changed ever since we went from our asatron to Christianity. Christianity made us into a bunch of pussies.
Their best to make sure nobody could hear this, and you can't say they don't have the ability to, because apparently the guy John Davidson not only was yelling shut the fuck up to other people, but apparently an entire speech about Palestine is gone for not a lot of people to know about. So the ability to edit out something is there, they just didn't do it, and now it's put an entire situation about Tourette's and understanding Tourette's in the
If you still want to hear how they talk in during the Viking time, I suggest traveling to Iceland. They often speak more like we did 500-600 years ago.
Of people ready to call anything racist in a moment's notice, and anyone who possibly defends it or sticks up for it or explains it as anti-black. So congratulations to the editors of this fucking broadcast. You fucked up the most out of anybody involved. That South Park episode did a little damage at the time because you had people thinking that people with Tourette's were just...
But Marek, English has way more swear words than Swedish. You cannot translate this. And you're insulting on a whole nother level.
And making it seem like they could just say whatever they want as long as they hide behind Tourette's.
The Finnish
perfectly capable of being excused for what it is that they're saying. Now, in 2026, we got the racial aspect being brought in, because on top of there being people not informed about the subject matter, thinking that there are people out there just saying things and thinking that they can get away with it. Now you have the racial aspect involved, where people are now going to start trying to indicate what's a disability versus what's somebody just saying something in order to make their own selves feel good while trying to make other people feel less than. And it's just going to be a complete embarrassment around the subject matter, because in my head, the way I'm looking at this before all of this kicks off is, okay, there's a way for people to learn more about something if they choose to, and it's via this movie. It's a baseline understanding because it's in the realm of entertainment, but if it piques your interest enough, you can learn about it more and have a better understanding about people who suffer from something. But instead of that, anti-black, racial slurs, we're all dumber as a society, and that just continues to make the world go round. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Yeah, and also we have white people, right? Because if it wasn't for those white people, this would have never happened. Just saying. And that's my conclusion. You can blame it on disability and you can blame it on racism, but let's be honest here. Because it's a white man, right? That should have let them. Oh, God.